Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the top 10 hardest boss fights in gaming history, the ultimate test of skill, patience, and determination. Ready to see which ones made the list? Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our epic gaming content. In the world of video games, boss fights are often the ultimate test of a player's skill, patience, and strategy. These encounters, which pit players against powerful enemies, can sometimes feel insurmountable, but that's exactly what makes them so rewarding to overcome. From intricate mechanics to brutal difficulty spikes, here are the top 10 hardest boss fights in gaming history, each known for pushing players to their absolute limits. 10. Ornstein and Smough, Dark Souls, 2009. The Dark Souls series is known for its punishing difficulty, and no fight exemplifies this more than the duo of Ornstein and Smough. As part of the game's first major hurdle, this fight introduces players to a multi-phase encounter with two vastly different yet equally deadly bosses. The fight demands precision timing, an ability to manage both enemies at once, and a lot of patience. The pressure intensifies when you realize that dying means starting the entire fight over, with the enemies in full health. For many players, this fight is the definition of frustration and reward. 9. Absolute Virtue, Final Fantasy XI, 2003. When Final Fantasy XI launched its Absolute Virtue encounter, it became infamous in the MMORPG community. This fight was designed as the ultimate test of a player's abilities, with mechanics so complex and a difficulty so high that it became legendary for its near-impossible nature. The fight was so difficult, in fact, that some players thought it was actually bugged or broken. It was only after a series of patches that the developers adjusted the difficulty to make it somewhat more manageable. However, the legend of its impossible difficulty remains. 8. The Nameless King, Dark Souls 3, 2016. Another brutal entry from the Dark Souls series, the Nameless King is one of the most iconic and punishing boss fights in Dark Souls 3. This fight is a two-phase battle. First, players face off against the Nameless King while he's mounted on his massive storm drake, King of the Storm. The difficulty of this encounter comes from the sheer amount of damage he can dish out, the need for precise dodging, and the stamina management required to not overexert yourself during the battle. 7. Boo! Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, 2007. In a fighting game based on the beloved Dragon Ball Z anime, it's no surprise that the ultimate challenge would come from one of the most powerful beings in the series, Majin Buu. The fight against Buu in Budokai Tenkaichi 3 pushes players to their limits. Thanks to his insane speed, relentless attacks, and ability to recover health in the middle of battle. His resilience and constant barrage of powerful attacks force players to stay on their toes, making this battle an exhausting yet thrilling experience. 6. Sephiroth, Final Fantasy VII, 1997. Sephiroth remains one of the most iconic video game villains of all time, and his final encounter in Final Fantasy VII is a true test of a player's skill. The battle with Sephiroth is not just challenging due to his high damage output, but also because of the game's mechanics and the limited resources available in a fight that is both long and demanding. His relentless aggression and the pressure of managing your party's health and resources make this one of the hardest boss fights in RPG history. 5. Lady Maria of the Astral Clocktower, Bloodborne, The Old Hunters DLC 2015. In Bloodborne, almost every boss is designed to test your ability to react quickly and adapt. Lady Maria of the Astral Clocktower, introduced in the Old Hunters DLC, is considered one of the hardest bosses in the game. She uses fast, graceful attacks that demand quick reflexes from players and a deep understanding of the game's mechanics. Her constant pressure makes this fight a true endurance test, as one mistake can easily lead to death. Lady Maria's fight is a prime example of how Bloodborne consistently pushes players to their absolute limits. 4. Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! 1987. In the world of classic video game bosses, Mike Tyson is a legend. His appearance in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! is one of the most feared and celebrated challenges in gaming history. The fight against Tyson is brutal because of his near-impossible-to-dodge punches, which can knock out Little Mac in one hit. His difficulty is so iconic that many players remember their frustration and joy in defeating him as one of the most satisfying moments in retro gaming. 3. The Witch of Hemwick, Bloodborne, 2015. The Witch of Hemwick is one of the most difficult and nerve-wracking bosses in Bloodborne. Players face off against not just one, but two witches who can teleport around the arena and attack from a distance with devastating spells. The witch's ability to summon minions, teleport, and cast ranged attacks that deal substantial damage makes it a nightmare. This fight tests a player's patience, as every mistake can lead to a swift and punishing defeat. 2. The End, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, 2004. The End is a boss fight unlike any other in Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. This battle is a true test of stealth and patience, taking place in a massive forest where the player must track down the elderly sniper, The End, who has a long-range sniper rifle. The difficulty lies in the environment itself, where the player is forced to stay hidden and anticipate the End's movements while avoiding being detected. In fact, the encounter could be skipped if the player chooses to wait and let the End die from natural causes, such as old age. But those who engage with the fight are rewarded with one of the most difficult and satisfying boss fights in history. 1. The Final Boss, Ninja Gaiden, 2004. The final boss fight in Ninja Gaiden, 2004, is a test of not just reflexes and combat skill, but also of sheer endurance. The fight takes place against the leader of the Dark Dragon clan, and it's infamous for its complexity, unforgiving difficulty, and the sheer amount of attacks thrown at you. The mechanics of this boss battle require near-perfect precision to dodge and counter, as the slightest misstep can result in an instant death. This makes it the hardest boss fight in gaming history. Thanks for watching, gamers. Drop your thoughts in the comments, we love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow gamers. Stay tuned for more intense gaming content, and we'll catch you in the next video.